My wife kicked me out on the way to the ER for her ex's emergency call. But her daughter's secret truth left her completely shattered forever. I, a 41-year-old male, had a bit of an accident and hurt my wrist. It's nothing serious, just a sprain, but at the time, I was in a lot of pain. I thought I might have fractured my wrist, so I asked my wife, Mia, a 45-year-old female, to take me to the nearby ER to get it checked out. Initially, she was very skeptical and unwilling to take me, insisting it would be fine if I just put some ice on it. However, I didn't want to take any risks, so I convinced her to drive me. Halfway through the ride, Mia received a call from her ex-partner and literally asked me to get out of the car because she had an emergency to deal with. We were just a couple of minutes away from the ER, so I tried to convince her to at least drop me off before she left, but she refused. She kicked me out, telling me to figure it out for myself because she had an emergency. I was in a lot of pain but somehow managed to walk to the ER, which took 15 minutes on foot, whereas it would have only taken a couple of minutes by car. When I got there, I was hot and sweaty because of the heat, and the pain felt worse. While I was waiting at the ER, I called my stepdaughter April and explained the situation to her. Within 20 minutes, she showed up and later drove me home. April, a 22-year-old female, is Mia's daughter with her ex, let's call him Eric, a 44-year-old male. April and I are very close, and she calls me Dad. I've pretty much raised her since she was 7 years old because Mia and Eric broke up when she was 4, and they don't have a strong bond. April was obviously very upset that her mother had kicked me out of the car when I was injured and left me to walk to the ER, especially when I was in so much pain. Even when we found out it was just a sprain, she said it was still no excuse for her mother to have treated me this way, and she was very upset with her. I didn't bother to defend Mia because I was pretty upset with her as well. When we got home, my hand was in a splint, and I would have to wear it for 3 to 4 weeks. I don't think that's nothing, as Mia had been claiming, and I believe I did the right thing by going to the ER. After we got home, April stayed with me and helped me out with everything, but I could tell something was bothering her in the evening. When Mia finally came back home, she sat all of us down, me, April, and our twin daughters, who are 15 years old, and April made an announcement that caused a lot of problems. I'm proud of her for taking a stand for me, though. She told us she had recently been contacted by her great-uncle's lawyer. Apparently, the man had left her a significant inheritance. For context, her great-uncle is on Mia's side of the family, and April was very close to him since they shared many common interests. He passed away recently, and it's not surprising that he left so much money to April because he was quite well off, and his own wife and kids had unfortunately passed away in an accident long ago. We had expected him to leave something to April, but we had no idea it would be so much. We were happy for her, and I was about to congratulate her, but she had more to say. Then came the controversial part. April announced that she had been thinking about splitting her inheritance with her parents. That's me and Mia. But after what happened that day, and the way Mia had been behaving for the past couple of weeks, she decided it would be better to split the inheritance with me instead. She felt that her mother wasn't treating any of us right. She wasn't exactly wrong. Eric had recently moved back here a couple of months ago. Initially, he and Mia started reconnecting as friends because he intended to spend more time with April. He believed Mia could help make that happen since she was closer to April, who wasn't really interested in meeting her biological father that often. They don't have a strong relationship, mainly because of Eric and his work. Eric and Mia broke up because he had to move away for work, and they couldn't do long distance. After that, his relationship with his daughter deteriorated. He would only come back home on alternate weekends to spend time with April, but as he progressed in his career, he got busier and couldn't visit her often. Sometimes April went months without seeing her father in person. Even when he did visit, it was only for a couple of days. Initially, April resented her dad for not being there, but then Mia and I got together, and I was so kind to her that she started replacing her dad with me in her mind. It worked out well for all of us because I love April like one of my own daughters, and she treats me like her dad. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think Eric was ready to be a dad back then. He took the easy way out and tried to build a relationship with his daughter on his terms and convenience, which didn't work out well for him. Now they hardly have a relationship. When Eric returned, he tried to rebuild a relationship with April, but she shut it down quickly. As an adult, she's set in her ways, and I don't think anyone can blame her. When he had the time and opportunity, Eric prioritized his work and life over his daughter, so this outcome isn't unexpected. That's why he started speaking to Mia, trying to get her to repair the relationship between him and April, acting as a mediator. That's how it started, at least from what I know. Recently, however, Mia has shifted her entire attention from her family to Eric. It's not like we haven't discussed this already. I don't like her increasing closeness with him. I'm not a generally insecure person, but it's gone to an extent that's getting on my nerves. Both of them are in the same line of work and are thinking about starting a business together. Mia has reassured me time and again that their interactions are strictly business and platonic. But the fact that she goes to her ex's place at least twice a week doesn't sit right with me. We've been bickering about it a lot, and what happened on the way to the hospital. I can't seem to move on from that. When April announced that she would split the inheritance with me and leave her mother out of it, we were all a bit awkward. Mia instantly got to her feet and started accusing me of manipulating her daughter against her and her father. She didn't even say anything to April, who had made the announcement and decision on her own. Mia just attacked me, telling me to stop overreacting and getting insecure about every little thing. She screamed in my face that she had to leave only because of a business emergency with Eric about a potential investor, and I needed to stop making a fuss because she was sure my injury wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. She claimed I was shedding crocodile tears to manipulate April into taking my side by making her out to be the villain. Until then, I was dumbfounded. But when she said I had replaced April's father in her life but could never replace her, I finally lost it. I fought back and gave her a piece of my mind. I told her she was the one acting irresponsible and crazy. If she thought I was overreacting because she spent half the week at her ex's place, then maybe there was something wrong with her. Anyone in my place would have already left her, so if anything, I was underreacting because I trusted her. Now, I don't think she deserves that trust anymore. Her priorities have clearly changed, and our family doesn't matter to her anymore. It's all about Eric. I said it didn't matter whether they were discussing business, April, or having an affair behind my back because I was done. At first, I hadn't been suspicious because I thought she wouldn't jeopardize 12 years of marriage for her ex. But now I wasn't so sure. She got even more agitated when I implied she might be cheating, and the fight escalated to the point where we were cursing at each other. April had to intervene and separate us so we could calm down. After the fight, Mia walked out and didn't come back home until late that night. Even then, she just packed a couple of things from our bedroom and left without a word to me, telling April she'd be staying with a friend for a couple of days. 3 days have passed, and I feel terrible about the fight. April hasn't been able to go back to her apartment and has had to work from home because if she leaves, I'll be on my own until the twins come back in the evening from their co-curricular activities after school. She hasn't complained and seems happy to be here, but I feel like she's giving up her privacy to help me, and it shouldn't be her responsibility. Mia should be the one helping me out right now, but she's not even here. I feel guilty for creating this situation. If I had kept my cool, maybe we could have sorted things out without everything spiraling out of control. April has told me several times that I shouldn't blame myself because Mia created this situation, and I've dealt with her with more patience and level-headedness than most people would. Still, I feel like this is all my fault for getting into a fight with my wife over her keeping in touch with her ex lately. Edit. A couple of things I need to address. First, I'm not shaming Eric for choosing his career. I didn't think I was shaming him, I was just pointing out the facts. Eric did not choose his daughter, that's a fact. It's not my fault that April has a better relationship with me than with him. I put in the time and effort, and he didn't. That's how it works. He wasn't there for his daughter during her formative years, but I was. Now, as an adult, he can try to build a relationship with her, but if April doesn't want it, he can't force it, even with Mia's help. I don't know what they've been meeting about so frequently since the business idea only came up a couple of weeks ago. Before that, they apparently only met to discuss April. Second, I'm not a complete fool, as some seem to think. I know there might be something going on between Mia and Eric. I haven't ruled out that possibility, but it hurts so much to think about that I didn't mention it much in my post. I've been actively trying not to think about it in my life. I'm not clueless, I know they might be having an affair. but I've been looking the other way because it's too painful to acknowledge. It's not the healthiest way to deal with it, but what else could I do? I don't have hard evidence, just suspicions and insecurity. I've spoken to Mia about it a couple of times, and she's always reassured me that nothing is going on and they're just friends. They've stayed in touch for years because of their daughter, and until recently, I never had an issue with it. Now, I find it uncomfortable, and it's embarrassing to admit because it makes me feel like a high school guy. I don't appreciate their relationship crossing the line of what's platonic at this point. My point is, I know something might be going on. I just haven't been able to acknowledge it fully until now. I spoke to April about how I've been feeling. First, I apologized for putting her through so much trouble. It's been a week since Mia walked out, and April has been staying with me. She's been a great help because I can hardly do anything with my sprained right wrist. She's been helping with chores I can't do and working from home. I know it must be stressful for her. Even though I've switched to working from home too, I don't have to worry about household work anymore. Thanks to her. I told her I felt guilty because it's not her responsibility. Mia should be here helping me. She said it was no big deal because even when she was younger, I wasn't supposed to be her responsibility since we're not biologically related. But I went above and beyond for her, so this is the least she can do for me. It got me emotional, and I ended up crying and venting to her. I told her about my suspicions that Mia might be unfaithful with Eric because of how much they've been hanging out lately. I thought she'd tell me I was overthinking and that Mia would never cheat, but she stayed silent. I knew she was thinking along the same lines. That there's no telling what Mia might do at this point because things have turned bitter. After a while, she spoke up and said that, while she wasn't sure if Mia was cheating, she was certain they weren't discussing her or trying to repair her relationship with her dad, as they claimed. For the past couple of months, she's hardly received any messages or calls from Eric. She wanted to talk to me about it but didn't want to start trouble and found it an awkward topic to bring up. When April told me that, I was already feeling down, and it shattered me. If Eric wasn't even reaching out to his daughter, then Mia's claims about them brainstorming ways to repair their relationship were all lies. I didn't know what to say, so I told April that, at this point, the only way I could deal with this was by filing for divorce. I'm not comfortable with Mia's closeness with Eric anymore, and it's clear she doesn't care whether I like it or not. I'm not even sure if they're actually planning a business or if it's just an excuse to get together. Things have reached a point where I'm not sure about anything anymore, and at my age, I don't want to deal with this. I've put up with everything without complaints because I loved her, but even love has its limits. I couldn't think of anyone I could say this to as comfortably as I did with April. My mom, who I was close to, passed away a couple of years ago, and my dad hasn't been part of my life since I was little. I'm glad April understood. Even though she's not my biological daughter, she's more than I could have asked for. My twins are too young to understand these things, but April is older and more mature. She told me that if I wanted a divorce, I should go ahead without caring about anyone else's feelings, because no one is prioritizing mine. There's no telling what's going on between Mia and Eric, and even if I confront her, she won't tell the truth. The situation has gotten out of hand, and it's time I extract myself before I get hurt more. That's April's advice, and though she's much younger, it's sound advice. I needed to hear it. I've started looking up divorce attorneys, and soon I'll be filing for divorce. If Mia comes back home, I'll talk to her about my decision, but my mind is made up. Aberkick. It's been a rough week. 2 weeks ago, Mia walked out, and she still hasn't come back. I've spoken to a lawyer. April helped me get in touch with her. And a couple of days ago, I filed for divorce. Mia and I haven't blocked each other, we just stopped talking. I left her a message saying that, given the situation, I don't think it's necessary for us to be together anymore. It's clear her priorities have shifted since Eric came back, and I can't deal with it anymore. It's been emotionally devastating. But it's time I took a stand for myself by filing for divorce. I poured my heart out in that message, but she didn't reply. I had nothing else to say, so I let it go. Today, I think she was served with the divorce papers because she reached out to April and said she'd sign off in a couple of days after her lawyer reviews the terms. She went through the terms herself and was fine with them. I found it sad that even though I texted her myself, she didn't reply to me personally and spoke through April. Whatever, I've learned not to expect anything from Mia anymore. Her nonchalant attitude toward the divorce makes me even more sure something is going on with Eric. Even when we've had terrible fights before, we never entertained the idea of divorce because she wouldn't have it, and honestly, neither did I. I never thought it would come to this, but here we are. On a better note, my daughters are all on my side. The twins, though young, seem to understand what I'm going through and have been extra supportive and compassionate. April, as always, has been mature about it and helped me break the news to the twins a couple of days ago when I filed for divorce. I thought they'd be upset with me, but they were supportive. As long as my 3 daughters are by my side, I can tackle anything. This situation with Mia is nothing. Luckily, the twins are 15, and by the end of the year they'll be turning 16, so I don't think we need to get into custody battles. We can just speak to them, get a lawyer to do the paperwork, and arrange something that works for all of us. Right now, the twins have negative sentiments toward their mother and don't want to spend time with her. That might change with time, but for now, they're adamant about staying with me and not seeing her. 5 days have passed since my last update. Today, Mia came back home with signed divorce papers. She's not contesting anything, and as soon as the waiting period is over, the divorce will be finalized, since we've worked out the details with our lawyers. She didn't call to inform me she was visiting, so I was shocked to see her at the door, but I let her in. She said she was only there to collect her things because she was running out of clothes and couldn't keep borrowing. It was the weekend, so April and the twins were home. They pointedly ignored her the entire time, and she didn't acknowledge us until she was done packing. Right before she left, she addressed her daughters, saying she understood they were upset about what was going on between us, but they needed to understand that both she and I were going through a lot in our personal lives. She said these weren't things they'd understand at their age, but she was still their mother, and she knew they'd eventually understand her point of view. The kids didn't say anything, and neither did I because, even though she was wrong about both of us being in the wrong, we didn't want more drama. So we stayed silent, and she left. The second her car pulled out, April started ranting about how insane it was that even now, Mia wasn't willing to admit she screwed up everything and messed up her family. April didn't hold back, saying she knew Mia was the only one going through issues. The only issues I was going through were the ones Mia created. That hit the nail on the head because that's exactly what it was. Maybe Mia was having a midlife crisis or something, which is why she got so close to Eric, but I didn't have problems until that started. Yet, in her speech, she pretended we were both in the wrong. April was mad, and even the twins were upset that she was presumptuous enough to say they'd understand her side eventually. From what they've seen, there's no side to understand. She was wrong, what she did was messed up, and that's it. The only thing she needed to say was that she was sorry, but she screwed that up too. I'm glad my daughters dealt with the situation in a dignified manner and didn't get into unnecessary fights with her. Clearly, she's beyond reasoning at this point. She's so delusional that she thinks she has a point, and that what she's been doing is fine, even though it cost her family life. She can continue believing that. I don't care anymore. Update 4, it's been 6 months since my last update, and the divorce was finalized a few months ago. I'm in therapy now. I didn't think it would do me any good, but April talked me into it, and it's been going pretty well. From what I know, Eric and Mia started their own business a couple of months ago, right after the divorce was finalized, so maybe they were telling the truth about that. But I'm also pretty sure they're hooking up now. I don't know why, but I just have this feeling. A few months ago that would have devastated me, but now I feel nothing. I gave this woman 12 years of my life and she messed it up, so it's her loss, not mine. I'm just happy that my daughters and I are doing well on our own. That's all that matters to me.